Let's Talk Bowling, y'all. We're just having a nice Saturday morning and just having a casual conversation about bowling. We do have a topic today, though. But of course, I'm full-time. This is Coach Geek. We're doing a little different today because we want to see what people are like on Saturday mornings instead of Friday evenings when you're getting off of work. Everybody's rushing in. You either got to go bowl or just want to chill. So this seems like a much better time to do it. So I think from here on out, we're probably going to go ahead and keep it going from there.
I like this time slot.
I do too. I get up early anyway, and Saturdays is like I don't have to rush to get anybody anywhere. It's pretty simple, and people wake up, can get on, and still watch us instead of having been like I've been at work all day. I don't feel like looking at another screen. You know, I know when I used to get off of work, I hate looking at another screen. It's like really okay, but we're just talking about what's our recent challenge that's coming tomorrow called the admin call out, where we have 96 participants, but we have quite a few people challenging us to a game of bowling. As you might say, best with points, match points going on, and then we get points for whoever wins the match points. So that's what we're talking about right now.
I don't see any reason the admins don't repeat as the champions in this either. I've only seen growth from all of our group in the admins, so I hope they know what they're getting into challenging us. So I think it's going to be a good time. I know there's a couple on my list that definitely have a chance to beat me, but I'm not going to make it easy.
No, I think we all have certain people that we know is going to give us a challenge. I know a guy named Ronnie Bungie. I don't even know him. From Slidell or something, not too far from where I'm at. He challenged me. He's like a 220 average bowler, which I'm like, okay, I might have some trouble with him. A few other people, but everybody else. I think your post kind of got people a little trigger happy to pick me because like, I want to beat the boss. It's like some of them is like Jennifer Little. She's decent, but I'm like, I don't know why you would challenge me. It's like, don't let me get off, but. I'm gonna take it seriously though. With my getting better, I think it's nothing but a up for all of us, really. You know?
I went back to some of my original equipment. I started the season one way, and I was bowling really well, throwing a bunch of big games. Somewhere along the line, I decided I wanted to throw some of my other stuff, so I just started messing with my bag. Had that little skid for a while. And went back to where I started the beginning of the season, basically my comfort zone, and I'm right back to where I was. So I'm definitely going to bring it.
Yeah, I noticed with my arsenal, what I have, which I have in that Scorpion low flare, I have a symmetric that I can use now. Like, I'm truly happy that Peyton wanted to part ways with this ball, and that second I didn't get it re-drilled, I just put a thumb in it because the way he laid it out works. I'm not sure why it works. I'm not sure how it works, but it works. It is the most versatile piece in my bag, and I haven't had a ball like that since 2009.
Okay.
That I can use on all situations. And then with the chill, and then with us getting the ace, which we're going to be talking about today, the going to be like a stronger version, and then the ace is kind of like in between. Well, really, I don't know if it's really in between because I watched the video, the hype when he did his comparison. He compared the ace to the Scorpion low flare. They're pretty similar. They're pretty similar. Pretty similar. I mean, I think the numbers they paint one story, but looking at what it does on the lanes, they're kind of what and what. I mean, what has been, because you're getting one too. So what has been your thoughts on what it's going to do for you?
I started looking at my arsenal, and I just used a graph just to see, and I don't know, my comfort zone is a lot of early roll, more flare, like the archetype, the Paragon, the Proof even, which is my go-to ball. They're a lot earlier roll, high RG, 2.5, actually mid RG, I guess, but and then my best late game ball is the Tundra Fire, and the ace on the chart was exactly in the middle. It was a straight diagonal line from my comfort zone my late game, and the ace is right square in the middle. So I'm definitely interested in seeing where I wind up using it, but I'm excited to get it for sure. It'll be my first swag ball at all. I haven't had one yet, so
A long time no see. I'm interested too. I think for you, I think it'll be because how often do you use your sensor solid?
not that often. It's really a tournament ball only. It was one of the balls that I threw in my bag for league, and just to get them on the lane, I threw my OG Paragon in there too. And really on the house patterns, the Paragon and the sensor solid were three-quarters of a game at best, and I was out of them anyway because I wanted something that would get down lane a little more. And I do have both of those drilled pinned down, which I know makes a difference, but the sensor solid for me is definitely in my tournament bag. It didn't work that well on just standard house shots the way I have it drilled.
Yeah. I always got a shout out. T Griff said, "Love what you're doing, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. It's been a long way coming, but it wouldn't be anything without the team that I have behind me at Stream. Especially this guy right here who does a lot of the pushing. But I appreciate that. Appreciate that. But looking at what you said with the Central Solid, like I got mines from a friend, Nick Contreras, who's like one of the top bowlers in Mississippi. And when I did throw it, because I was surprised, the dude is like 5'10", maybe 5'11". We're about the same girth because he's bigger, but he's definitely a much bigger person than I am. And his span was exactly the same as mine. So I was able to just put my it grip thumb in and throw it. But in throwing it, it's kind of like my violent collision. I have to give it a lot in order for it to move. And if the shot's not there, it's just not the ball. Where my Scorpion low flare, I can put hand in it. I can take hand out of it. I can come up the back of it. It's reacting no matter what I do. The sensor just labors. And if we're looking at numbers, like you said, the numbers line up. It is exactly that. I mean, my low flare is 2.47 RG, which is it's early. It's early RG, but then it's a low flare. So it's like 0.031 differential, where the ace is 2.53 RG, which means it's going to push down the lane, but it has a 0.040 differential. So it has a slightly stronger flare potential to make it hook more. So the numbers put it right in the middle, and then if you go to my chill, it's a bigger ball. It's at 2.50, which is in between the two RGs, but then it's flared to like 0.55. So I think adding the ace to my bag will give me a good symmetrical arsenal that I haven't had in a long time. Because I've always had that one that works, but then I've never had something to follow up with except for like an ASIM. So what are your thoughts on those numbers? Like, what are you, like, just off those numbers, where do you see it placing in between your bag?
I guess it's, like I said, my comfort zone is 250, 050. Or early roll, I get a lot of forward roll in my hand. You watched me bowl. I get a lot of forward, so a little bit of early motion doesn't hurt me because I get the ball down lane well. And then again, on the flip side, I like the Tundra Fire, which is almost no flare. It's like 0.3. So, and I use that. The Tundra Fire is a lot more like games 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 for me, just so that I can get something controllable. So I actually compared it and tried to compare it to, I had the Nuclear Forge for a while, which I was using in the middle block, but I gave it away to my brother. I'm hoping that it will kind of take that spot where it's going to have some grab in the oil, but still be smooth enough to get down lane, but then still have enough to get back. I don't know if it will, but that's kind of where I'm hoping to have it at, like games 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range, where I can go from my comfort zone to, the early big flare archetype type ball into that where I can control it in the middle of the block. Then I've got the sensor solid and even like a 14-pound ball I used late. So gonna see, because that's kind of where my sensor solid's been, is kind of in that middle block where I can control it, pin down, not so whippy on the back end. I can kind of move around with it, and it doesn't take me much. Like you were talking with the sensor solid, for me, I don't have to get my hand in mine that much. I don't know if the pin down drill helps, but mine shapes real nice. I don't have to put much in it, and it just rolls out for me. So
It does that. It rolls out. It just I have to hit on it in order for it to even move. And I'm trying to get away from that unless I have like the oil to actually support me putting a 500 rep rate on the ball. Because
which maybe that's why I like it a lot, because I do use it in tournament where there is a lot more oil. I don't really put it on house shot much at all. So it's already back out of my house bag, and it'll just be waiting for these tournaments I've got coming up this month. So
yeah, I mean, as far as the rest of your arsenal though, so you have a sensor solid, which you said is your tournament ball. I know you said you have your Paragon, your Archetype, which are your favorite. Do you still even use the Paragon Pearl anymore?
I don't. I mess around with it a bunch, and I've thrown some big games. Like I took it. I've been doing some coaching with some guys, so I always just grab a bag of stuff I haven't used. And I actually took the Paragon and the Paragon Pearl this last time, which is a very dull with the Paragon pin down, early roll, and then I had the Pearl. So I was just like, while I was coaching, I was playing around with different lines too, and I still threw 230 with it, and it was house oil, but it was just the two of us, so call it fresh more or less. But I still like it, but if there's one thing about that ball, once it gets squirrely, it is squirrely. And if I don't get it down lane far enough, but yet still outside, like it's just so touchy. If I pull it in, it's way left. And like, I don't know, it's just not consistent for me. I can throw it, and I do still throw it, but not nearly like I was when I first got it. I think the hybrid's more, I think we talked about this. I'm more of a hybrid than the pearls. I don't really throw a lot of pearls. The Tundra Fire is a pearl, but again, it's such a late roll, low flare, core, symmetric, that I don't have to worry about that crazy over-under down lane back end. So
yeah, I think we're both in the same boat when it comes to hybrids reacting a lot better for us. Mm-hmm. So that makes the ace even more interesting because
exactly.
Korean design ball, and I haven't thrown it's technically an international ball brought here. I haven't thrown that here on this type of conditions. What type of hybrid formula do they come out with? But like I said, from what I've seen, I honestly think that compared to the low flare, I think the low flare, depending on how you throw it, I think if you throw it like me, they're very similar. I think when it comes to maybe two-handed, there is a difference. I don't know if you know. I know you've probably seen we call it Black Mamba Kobe Franklin two-hander on TikTok.
Yeah.
His nephew or uncle is Roger Patrick, who bowls with me on Tuesdays, and Roger Bird. I've said this whole man middle name. I am so sorry, even though he's at a tournament. Roger. He recently signed him to Swag, and I've been watching Kobe throw this Swag line these last few weeks, and especially the ace. And he's two-handed, and the amount of revs he puts on the ball, but the reaction he gets out of it, it is something that I think will be deadly for a lot of high rev bowlers. I mean, I tease you about being rev challenge, which you're really not.
I'm not.
At like 400, 425, you're up there. So just watching him throw that ball and like the consistency it created in holding the line and then turning and going through the pins, and even on some of the kind of errant shots, it slapped the pins hard enough to carry everything. I truly think this piece is, I'm just going to quote the hype here, is the ball you need to start with swag, and then branch off, because just watching it react on the lanes and see even in the hype's hands, it's like they figured something out with this ball. And even though I don't like the high RG, you can't knock ball reaction. You have to trust your eyes. And from what I can see, you can hit on it all you want. It's not going to overreact. It's going to read. It's going to do exactly what you want it to do, which most bowlers, that's a dream. A ball that does exactly what you want it to do. Can you get way super left? Probably not as like the low flare. The low flare, I can get pretty left with it, but that's not the point. The point is to control the lanes and keep you in play and carry.
Yeah, which I like straighter for me. The longer I can stay straighter, and if that's going from a ball to a ball to a ball, and I can stay in my comfort zone longer, if this gives me that game 3, 4, maybe into 5, where I don't have to move so far left as the lanes burn up, it's gonna be money. Like it's gonna pay for itself in that aspect, which I hope it will do. It'll just give me that smoother motion in there, and I'll be able to just stay in my comfort zone right around 25 with my feet, not running it way out, and just kind of stay consistently running it up them boards.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the same. I'm hoping for the same thing because, contrary to popular belief, I like bowling straighter. Even though I have a high heart rate, I like bowling straight. I've shot 800 swinging the ball. I've shot 800s bowling the ball up the lane, track area. I've shot 300s in all 3 zones. But if I had to pick, like you, I would rather be straighter because that amplifies how much I can carry as far as the amount of rev rate and power I'm putting into the ball. But also, I don't have to get as far left. No, when you have to get left, it becomes a problem when you have a high rev rate.
Yeah, and there's a lot of miss room. The more right to left you have to put on the ball, or for the lefties left to right, the more side to side you put on the ball, the more room for error there is. Straighter, just for me anyway, I'm way more accurate if I can stay straighter. When I have to start putting the ball across the lane like that, my miss ratio is a lot higher.
Yeah, I think that's for most people because you're getting it across, and you can't it's like minefield. You don't know exactly where everything is. It's a best guess. You don't know if later in the block, game 5, game 6. Depending on who's bowling with you or who's bowled on the pair before, if you're on a tournament, if there's going to be a dry spot right there before you get to the break point, because then if that happens, now you're in a whole different ball game. I've from experience ran into the tournament that's like 8 games or whatever. You get to game 5 and 6, you get to a pair, all of a sudden balls checking up 38 feet down the lane because they hit a dry spot, and you have to get either super deep or get right and throw it super hard. Once you have to start doing that, accuracy is gone, So definitely, I'm hoping that this acquisition for us is going to be, I think it's going to be a fruitful one. I think we're both going to be liking the ball. For those of y'all who's new to the channel and have seen my equipment, I have ordered some new pieces. I have the swag 8th coming. I got a Black Widow 2.0, not 3.0.
I think you said you were going to drill that Black Widow 2.0 like a two-handed layout. I was curious with your rev rate. That probably is going to work pretty well for you because you rev the ball like a two-hander.
Yeah, I do. And no, that's the crazy part about it. And that's why I'm so interested in kind of basing my arsenal now off of what Peyton has drilled for him, because Peyton's a two-hander. So like the chill he just gave me, he gave me a chill and a chill pearl. And I haven't put the thumb in the Trill Pearl yet because I don't need it until we find out what this new machine is going to do at the base. Because we have a new oil machine. We don't know if it's going to keep the same amount of oil and carry down, or if it's going to break down like normal places and then you get to move left. If that's the case, then I'm definitely putting the thumb in it. But the pin is like super high. I only have one other ball like that, and that was my original Hellcat, the very first one I got. But even with that, it's not as high as he put it. So it's like, okay, it was pretty interesting to see this ball read the way it was reading because I've never had a ball do that. So the chill is solid. I just did the same thing. I just put a thumb in it and said, okay, let's go from here. And I can't wait to throw it on Tuesday.
Yeah. So, and you might be onto something like, instead of trying to lower your rev rates, just sticking with what you're comfortable with, but using that different layout. I'm excited to see how that Black Widow comes out. We're putting that layout on it.
Well, I think it's going to be. I think I'm verging into a new era of layouts for me and different type of reactions. So I can't wait till I get it to do it because I even told Peyton that I said everything I'm getting, and then I think he's also giving me a Dark Code, which is an older ball from Storm, but he's giving me that as well because he says he doesn't need it anymore. I'm like, okay, I don't mind Storm balls. I mean, it's been a while since I've owned them and actually consistently own them, but it's just interesting to see this layout. Is it something that I've been missing? Is it really two-handed? Because people say the two-handed stuff is all whatever. I think what makes it work is I use my thumb. And I don't know if you know layouts too well, but back in the day, one thing that I used to do when it was legal to do on symmetrics was, you remember the balance hole?
Yeah, I had balance holes.
So my favorite layout would be a pin up and then get a balance hole closer to the thumb, like down and to the right of the thumb. That increases the flare, like big time. Like when I had my friend, when I first threw the frantic, it was squirrely. And then I was like, I needed to hook a little bit more. So my boy Alex, we was like, all right, well, you want a weight hole in it? I'm like, well, is that legal? He said, yeah, I can put one right here, make it flare. The moment he did that, the ball just completely changed. I was like, hold on. I was able to use one game, two game, three game. The only time I couldn't use that ball was when I had extreme amount of carry down. That was the only time I couldn't use it. But if it was dry, if it was like just oily and didn't carry down and just broke down, man, I was destroying with that ball. So with that two-handed layout, with the not having the thumb anymore, I think me putting the thumb in it increases. It has to have some effect on the flare, so therefore increases the actual potential of it to hook. So because for him, he didn't like the low flare. He said it was super smooth. I get it, and it's like this thing is jackknifing off the back, but it's very controllable. So I'm like, well, I'm thinking that might have something to do with it, is because it's drilled for a two-hander to be a certain way, but when you add that thumb into it, it increases that flare factor on it. So now it's like with my speed and with the rev rate I'm putting on it, it's like before they banned weight holes. So it's working.
Quick shout out, Patrick Roper is the one hooking us up with that ace. I saw him just jump into my live. Just a quick shout out to Patrick for, like, again, this will be my first swag ball, and he's been trying to talk me into it for a while, and just wanted to throw him a shout out real quick. So if you guys don't follow Patrick Roper, he knows quite a bit about the swag stuff, and I think he actually helped get Charles Hutchins the hype. I think he's the first one that sent him a ball down there, and then Charles is just, I've seen 3 or 4 swag balls now that Charles has done. So
he's done 4. He's done the Tracker, the Glacier, the Ace, and there's one more. The Goat. He's done the Goat, and I think there's maybe 5. Since then, he's been doing a lot of them. But then that's also because we just found out that Bowlers Mart has acquired Swag Bowling. So that might be part of the reason why he's been doing a lot more reviews, or it might have started with that very first one. But from what he's showing and what he's putting out there, and he's showing that the stuff does work. And
it does work.
All the negative light that it does get, like I'm not going to say any names, but if you watch YouTube reviews, you know who I'm talking about, always talking about their balls are ugly and look like vomit. Unless you actually go and throw the ball, I think you got to, which is what the hype did. He threw the ball. It's changed the outlook because the hype has, I think, almost 20,000 followers by now.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
So it's like to see him throw it, and then he says admittedly, it's not the type of stuff that you want to get super left with, but it is smooth. But as you can see, it does work. So that's the type of light that swag needed in order for it to really be elevated. I think it's on that precipice of just being taken seriously and like, this is something that people really want to get into. So I really shout out Patrick for that, and shout out the hype and Hogan for reigniting our interest and really wanting to try swag ball again, because I didn't like my Incredible Hero when I first had it. What's up, Patrick? But I think I understand now why I didn't like it. So now that I know, it's like, okay, let me look at other equipment that doesn't have those specific numbers and type of reactions, because what I had was just too strong, and we don't bowl on enough oil to really do it. But then I also picked the wrong layout. I went pin down, and not knowing that all their stuff is super smooth, I should have went pin up. So there was a couple bad choices I made, but I'm happy to be getting another one and get another chance to say, okay, let's go from here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it 100%. Like you were saying, unless you've thrown it, like a lot of people bash it. I want to throw it. I'm not going to say anything until I have one in my hands. I've seen some of the stuff Patrick's done. I've seen some of the stuff Hogan and Dante have done. I mean, I got a buddy that I bowl with here that is all swag, and he's been, the ace is his first ball out of the bag, and then he moves to the goat as he's got to move a little bit left. He's been throwing up big numbers, so I'm ready. I'm ready to try it.
Yeah, with this ace, and then with my latest acquisitions, I'm kind of interested in looking at the goat again, and I think we're on the verge of something with swag. So, but even talking about stuff and merchandise and merchandise like that, we're also with stream bowling. We have some things that we like to sell. So we have cups that Geek is currently drinking out of right now. Let's Talk Bowling cup produced by No Stream. He get in contact through him. There will be shirts coming. There are also ball cups. A whole bunch of different things to help us grow, help us do different things to help provide better challenges and better information for you guys out to like to help the bowling community grow. As far as me concerned, I have a cleaner out there that is currently being tested by my admin, RevTac Pro, which is, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but it works. It really does work from the feedback I'm getting from all my testers. It works. So
like what I've noticed with it so far is it is a very it cleans quicker than everything else that I have. Like I can just set the ball, get some cleaner on there, let it sit. It's cleaning the ball really quickly. I don't know that it's doing much for the motion. Like it's tacky, I can feel it, but man, it's just giving me a little bit less scrub time to get some of the marks out. And even like the belt marks, it doesn't take a whole lot. It's working great.
Yeah. No, I did notice in my testing of it that the deeper scratches, the deeper marks don't come out as easily. You got to kind of hit it with a pad to make that work and get it out of there. But with just generally cleaning it, those scratches, those marks don't affect your ball motion. And I've just cleaned the ball and left those on there, and the ball still reacts like it's like I'm just gonna shrug this off. It's just a scratch.
Both balls I used last night, I used it to clean them both before league. I rolled 775. So
I gotta say, it's like I didn't think it would work as well as it's working, but from what I can tell from you, Patrick, to Aaron, to even Swan, there's definitely Aaron shot 700 yesterday, and he cleaned his ball pro before he bowled with it. Going the Arctic vibe, and he was striking like crazy with it. I'm like, I know Aaron is a good bowler. It's like, but the reaction I'm seeing with the ball now than before when he first had it, and now this is clean. And he even believes, he's like, this stuff is really making this ball move. And then Swan 2 days ago cleaned her pink archive solid with it, and that ball was just moving. And I don't think it's really adding to the performance of the ball. I think what it's doing, it's actually taking away all the dirt that you could possibly think is in the pores and allowing that ball to be like it was brand new. Because when you get a brand new solid or any ball, it reacts the best when you first have it.
And new ball carries real.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's doing. It's cleaning so good that it's giving you that new texture, that new reaction, because the pores are just cleaned out. And then when you get it on the lanes, it gets to the pins, it's carrying. The ball is carrying, which what we want the ball to do. And if it's as simple as clean, hey, RevTac Pro.
Yeah. Josh just said he shot 702 right after using his too. So like it's starting to make a difference, I think, and I think you're probably right. Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily doing anything to the surface, but probably just having that cleaner surface, which is what you want. I'm not a huge polish fan or compound. I like the surface of the ball. They tell you what kind of cover stock it is for a reason, and that's what you want on the lane. And the RevTac, I think, is just, like you said, just making that surface back to what it was, and you're just getting that same new ball reaction out of it.
I think that's going to be the slogan for it. Want your new ball reaction?
New ball reaction. New ball carry.
It definitely, I'm going to put that on there because, in testing it and just in testifying to it, like I had put my power torque away for a while. You remember this? I had stopped using the ball. Even though I've recently retired it, just because I'm finding I don't like the way it moves really too much for what I'm really trying to go through with my game. But it was like about 3 months back, and even Peyton made a notice of it. I had cleaned it with RevTac Pro and didn't think about using the ball. It got to the third game, and I grabbed the ball, and Peyton on live said, "What the hell is he doing?" Because he knows I don't like the ball, and I threw it, and I was like, "What the hell? If nothing else is working." The ball got down the lane, took off, and struck, and I was like, he was like, "What the hell?" And the guy was like, "What?" It's like he's been throwing that ball in months, and he was right. I hadn't touched it in like 3 months. I haven't thrown the ball, but ever since I started cleaning it with RevTac Pro, it became my official game 3 ball. You know, when the lanes got crazy and I needed that early read and early reaction and good carry, it was working. So then I was seeing then what you guys are seeing now. So I'm just happy you guys are able to experience what I'm experiencing with it and actually use it and see for yourself that, hey, this stuff really works. And it smells good too. That's the great part.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm a staffer with CTD. I've got a whole slew of stuff back here, and I'm kind of testing it side by side. And don't get me wrong, there's some creating the difference stuff that I believe works really, really well. I'm a huge believer in the life after death and what it can do to the inside of the ball. But even the life after death stuff doesn't seem to be cleaning the surface like this is. Whatever it's doing inside the ball is one thing, but this is really cleaning the surface of the ball probably better than anything I've used.
Cool. I certainly think it is, from what I've seen. So I'm glad it's being confirmed that I'm not seeing with my, because I can only say so much, and it's my product. I made it. But to have you say it, to have Josh say it, I'm waiting on Derek's response, and also Sagira and Ron Bailey to.
Which reminds me, I bowl a lot, so you can see. You might want to just tell me how much I owe you, because I'm gonna need some more.
I got you. I got to get some more. I got to get bigger bottles so that I can actually start sending those out. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about RevTac Pro or you want a bottle, just hit me up. I'll let you know the price and I will send it to you, including shipping. But it is pending USPC approval. Now, whether it's going to be anytime use or before and after, I don't know. That's all up to them. But I can tell you this: it is safe to use anyway because the stuff it's made from is already been approved for before and after use. Labels, I actually have the logo, but I'm trying to wait to get that okay to put that USB-C approved on it, so I don't have to change it and everything goes on it.
Yeah, the nice thing is that the stuff you're using is all. It's not like you're throwing stuff that they have already said no, that's a no. You're just using stuff that we know is approved. So I don't see how it wouldn't get approved, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that brings us to our topic of the day. And this is an interesting one, y'all. We're going to be talking about sandbagging and average control. Is there a difference? I think there is, but it depends on who is doing it. That's what makes it.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. And I told you directly, I've dealt with both scenarios this week. And I was very angry early in the week when it happened. Later in the week, Thursday, in fact, it did give me a different perspective on some things, but I still don't fully agree with it at all. But there is a difference, in my opinion, average control and sandbagging. You are right.
I mean, what do you think your difference is?
So what I saw early in the week was blatant. I mean, I didn't say anything to the individuals. They're friends of mine, and it was blatant enough that we knew, you could just see what happened. We had 2 close games in the match. We were neck and neck. It's Peterson points. The head-to-heads was back and forth. Game 3 started, and we just lit them up. We just lit them up. And mind you, this is a big money league, 40 teams, high payouts.
Yeah.
By the 9th frame, they were so beat that we're talking about 220, 230, 215 average bowlers. I think I might have seen 1 or 2 marks in the 9th and 10th frame total from all of them. And it wasn't that they opened, it's how they opened on a couple of them that bothered me so much. And is that, I don't know if I would say that it was sandbagging to control handicap, because you're not allowed to go down more than 10 pins in this league. So, but the point of it is just blatantly giving up like that. I even took one of their bowlers aside, who I'm friends with, a young kid, and listen, this kid has more potential in his pinky finger than I have, and I feel like I'm fairly good, and this kid is phenomenal. We were head to head, and I beat him the first 2 games, and he quit. Took out a spare ball, plastic, threw it down the middle, 2 frames, and I pulled him aside and I said, "Look, I don't care if we're head to head or not. You don't quit on your team."
Mm-hmm.
So he at least picked it back up. But then when the 9th and 10th frame came around, I was like, "Man, that's just bad. That's bad juju."
Yeah, that sounds like exactly what you said. It sounds like they just gave up. But then, like you said, it's not giving up. It's how it's done. If you know a person's good at picking up, say 8 pins, and then the 8 pin, and all of a sudden they just missed it wide right, like you got a question in your head, like, did you drop the ball? Did you just do that on purpose? What went wrong? Because you haven't missed those, and I know you don't miss those. So yeah, no, for me that sounds like y'all really put foot to ass. For them.
It was, I mean, it's 40-point night, and we wound up taking 35 and a half. But the kicker is like up until game 3, like we were winning, but it was close wins. We won the first game by 3 pins, 78 to 75. The second game was under 20 pins, like in the teens somewhere. It just wasn't like. But then when the floodgates opened and they quit, I just didn't agree with that. I was very disappointed in a couple of my friends.
Yeah, because you would think, especially if it's not a landslide, like if it's close, I'm not giving up. I don't. This happened to me this week with our team. The first 2 games we had were close. It was like we're gonna if we can take total, that's fine because we're close enough. It just didn't happen to pan out that way because the lanes just broke down in a very weird way the last game. But no, we all was like, yeah, we got to get it. That fighting and trying to get back into it, regardless if you don't win majority of the points. No, if you could at least take that in total, you're at least getting almost half. And just give up like that. It is disheartening, and it's also like it takes the fun out of it because we all bowl against each other in these leagues to compete against each other to see, not to brag who's best, but like to say, hey, look, we won on the day. We bettered y'all this night. And, next time we see, maybe maybe be vice versa. Who knows? But to just give up, and do things like you were saying they were doing, that's just crazy. I mean, I've seen things like that in my career of bowling. I've seen people purposely throw off that I can clearly tell are really good bowlers. I'm not going to call out any particular people, I don't remember their names, but Florida has I've seen it a lot in Florida, especially in the Spring Hill area where I've seen bowlers who I'm looking at them and watching them. I watch them in practice, can't miss a strike. And then first game, 170. Second game, 180. And it's like, what's going on? It's like I'm looking and watching, and it's like, you don't look like you're that bad of a bowler to have that bad of a night. No, but they shot those games because they won. Yeah.
And that's where I was going to.
Them, all of a sudden, the light comes on, 240. Like,
our one of the leagues I'm on too had we had to have a discussion about it at the beginning of the season. In fact, just bowlers who are that good and they just control the game by and they're good, like they just don't miss. Their accuracy is always so good, and then all of a sudden you'll see them miss as their team is winning. They'll miss just a little and leave a single pin or a 2-pin spare and pick it up just to keep themselves in the game, just in case. And then all of a sudden, like you said, oh, the game's on the line, bang, and they throw 3, 4, 5 strikes in a row.
Mm-hmm. I've had that happen to me numerous times in Florida, and I was like, I've even seen it during a eliminator, not a scratch. It was a match play tournament, 5 games, where a guy got re-rated. He got re-rated because he came in with a 170 average. Guess what he shot the first 3 games? Damn near 800.
Yeah.
Damn near 800. And it's up in arms like, hold on, man, something wrong. I mean, I was happy for the tournament director to say, hey, no, you're about to be re-rated and you're about to go against whatever the score is, go scratch. You're not getting any handicap. But it was like, to blatantly do it like that, before I moved to Florida, I've never seen it done like that. I'm in Mississippi, but just to be blatant with it and go to a tournament where there's money to be won and say your average is 180 and you're out here shooting 260 a game, there's no way. 180 bowlers, no shade to any 180 bowlers out there listening. If you're a 180 true 180 average bowler, your average and your skill is going to show. There is no way you have that good of a night to shoot 800 because your average is 180. Can it happen and be lucky? Yes, but then the luck does involve some type of skill to put the ball in the same place. And the reason why you have a 180 average is because you are not as good skilled at putting it in the same spot as a 220, 230 average. But that's why their average is that high, because they're a little bit better at it. So like, there's no shade recognizing what real is real. And for people to blatantly do that and then try to cheat the system, it's like, really?
You said the magic word earlier, money.
Yeah.
When they're, and it's the root of all evil, as they say. You put money in front of somebody and they're going to do things that maybe they wouldn't normally do. And as a scratch bowler, you just have to be aware of that sometimes. And I know going into handicap tournaments that I could be up against that exact scenario. And you know what? I'm in a handicap tournament. So if they're going to do that, karma is what it is. The saying. So it comes around, I think, with people who do that. But towards our topic too, later in the week, we were just talking about average control, and I got to witness that firsthand as well. It set me off a little bit to start, and then as I went through the night, I understood what the gentleman was doing more. He was actually bowling with me. We were both subbing. Average control, he bowls up in a house up north of me that is perennially bad shot, tough conditions, and his average is probably 210 up there. But every time he comes down into our area with better lanes, better conditions, better oil machines, he can average 240. What his comment was initially was, I can't come down here and bowl 21 games because when I go back where I live, if I set myself with a 240 average here and have to deal with that up there, there is no chance I can't compete up there with that. So as he explained it a little bit more, I understood average control a little bit. Yep. And he came down and shot 730 something. So he didn't blow the games, but he won't let himself get 21 games in any league down here, knowing that it will completely hose him up in his home house.
Yeah. And I've been amplified, what's the word? Put into place my own average control, like with my team, like with Peyton. Peyton is a two-hander. He's on here, Peyton Bowles, if y'all want to go follow him. He is a really good two-hander. I mean, he won our very first challenge and shot 780. No, he struggles a lot with his game, and a lot of it's mental that really gets him, because he has great form. He could repeat a shot if he really needs to. It's just, I think he has an issue I used to have with getting in his head a little too much, and it hinders him. But in our first week of league, he averaged 170, and he was like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm not. You're like, it's a league to where, and this sickens me that, and handicap bowlers, not saying that they're all bad, or so many of them have a need for, I need the pins. I gotta have the pins. I want to have the pins. And then vote for something that doesn't really benefit anybody. So like our league on Tuesday that I bowled with Roger Patrick, Matthew Lake, and Peyton, we had an opportunity to do, instead of regular handicap, do team handicap based off the difference between the average. That is truly fair across all boards. Why? Because it makes everybody have to bowl their average. If you're not getting any pins, you have to bowl your average. If you're getting between the two averages, 90% of, let's say 100, you're getting 90 pins, you have to still bowl your average. You don't have to depend on one bowler to blow everybody out the water. But not even surprisingly, it got voted out, and everybody was like, no, we don't want to do that. Why? It's fair. I don't understand why league presidents and league secretaries and vice presidents don't make it standard. It's like, hey, look, this is how we're going to do this. This is how it's fair. Because I want to give you, because right now we get 100% of 225. And the reason why they voted on that was because Nick Contreras, who is one of our best bowlers in the state, is in the league, averages 240. Oh, well, if we do that, we get more sticks. That's not going to stop him from shooting 240.
No.
It's not going to do anything. And you're just wanting more sticks, and it's hurting the integrity of in my opinion, the integrity of the league, because you don't want to bowl better, but you want to give yourself more help. Yet the person who works on their game is penalized for being good. That's not cool. And if you look at all the averages, we have 12 teams. I think I'm the 7th or 8th highest average in the league at 213. So it's like there's only 2 people averaging that high. Why does it need to be at 225? And I think a lot of sandbagging comes from the fact that handicap has unfortunately gotten ridiculous because it's not standardized. It's not like the PBA. 200 is it. That's it.
It's a plus minus.
That's it. There's no reason why we should be getting at most handicap out of 210. That's it. It should be no higher than that because there's not that many bowlers in your league. Whether you have 40 teams, you have more because of numbers, or 50 teams or even 60 teams. We want to have that many people over 220. The majority in 190 to 210.
Yeah, our Tuesday league is pretty stacked. The 100% thing, I don't know how anybody would vote 100%. 90%, I think our Tuesday is 90% of 235. Mondays is 90% of 230, and my Fridays is 90% of 230. At least the 90% gives those higher average bowlers a little bit of a fighting chance. Granted, anything over 230 is running zeros, but with the 90%, at least incrementally, the lower average bowlers per, just everybody throws equally and throws their average. There are a few pins, so I don't know how anybody would get away with 100% anymore. That's insane.
That's crazy. They voted for 100% out of 225 only because one team and one person was in there that in that house has historically been known to shoot back-to-back 800s, back-to-back 700s, 300, and it's like y'all are fearful of this one person, and you're
still not beating him.
No, he will literally the team he's built will literally walk you down. It's not just him by himself. No, it's Nick Contreras, a guy named Peter Lee, a guy named David Conway, and a guy named Chris Lott. These guys are 4 of the best bowlers in Mississippi. And David Conway is the lowest average. That's the crazy part. And that's in general, wherever they go. In the house on the base right now, Chris is struggling. Chris Lott averaged 245, 250 over the last 2 seasons. So his team is just that badass of a team. So they're going to walk you down if you're not going to shoot that much higher. But it's sad that they have to shoot that high in order to beat you. And then it's like the other teams who are slightly below that, if you have one person that has one good game, they're out of it because you're getting 86. That's where that's the rub for me. It's like, why are you getting so many sticks and you're depending on one person? It's a team sport. If it was singles, that'd be different.
Yeah. A couple of rules. I know, like I said, our Monday and Tuesday league, they have a 10-pin rule. Every bowler comes in with their previous year's average from that league and or their book average. And it's been voted into our bylaws. You can only drop 10 sticks. And if you're having a bad year, my brother-in-law had a really bad year last year, and he was 15, 16 sticks low, but they would only let him drop those 10 until he built himself back up. I think that's at least a reasonable compromise with some of it. Don't let somebody, because we're talking about sandbagging, don't let them drop their average so much that all of a sudden they're throwing 900s with their handicap. One of the other rules we tried to vote in and everybody voted it down. When you throw a 300, you can't do any better than that.
No.
I've seen so many guys this year throw 310, 315. We tried to put in a rule in place that 300 would be the cap even with your handicap. Because imagine throwing a 300 and losing head to head. We tried to do away with that, and they voted that down, and that to me was that was a no-brainer. 300 is 300. There are no more pins than that. And they just wouldn't go for it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this crazy handicap, needing the handicap, is creating a lot of the sandbagging issues. That we see in some leagues where we have people that are good, that generally just throwing the ball just to have a lower score so they can come back and win. One of my friends did it when I was in travel league and youth league. The first year I bowled travel league, I won player of the year. And I didn't know the rumor was going around that people thought I sandbagged because I came in with a 160 average. By the time we were finished, I finished with a 198 average. And I can see why they thought that because, how do you go up 30 pins? I mean, I literally won everything. I was player of the year, most improved. I had the highest scratch series. So it was just I had a really good year, but I learned through tough conditions. So every single house we went to, I got better each time. So what I learned from one house, I took to another house, and if it worked, it didn't. If I had a bad week that stopped, it's okay, I learned that. So we had 20 something stops. By the end, I had seen a lot. So it was it just kind of all just played into okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do here. And I won it. I think I had the lead by over 500 points. There was I had it locked out by the second to third stop. But then my friend comes back the next year, averages 140 for half the season. And then the rest of the season averages 230 and then wins player of the year. I was like, bro, why did you do that? He was like, well, isn't that what you did? I'm like, no, I genuinely just better.
Yeah. And you can't punish somebody for doing stuff like that, especially younger or, I've seen a lot of adults even, especially now that I'm doing some coaching, when you see them continuously getting better, those things happen because over a summer, if you really work hard over the summer, your average can jump a bunch. If you take summer league and summer practice and do it right and take it serious, you can jump 20, 30 pins like that, just based on a lot of repetition and a lot of seeing the same things over and over, like you said, just learning from house to house to house. All of a sudden, you're that much better. Yeah, those things happen, but then it's the people who do it on purpose. It's when there's money involved and they see those dollar signs and they want to do it for personal gain that, I'll never be on board with it. And Patrick just mentioned in here, and I know he's just messing around. Once you have the win, it's just straight up the middle. Those guys to me are bad for the sport in general. Yeah,
because there's no sense in honor and just okay, I already got the win. No, just finish it out. No, that's how I feel.
Just bolt to your skill set. We all know, like I said, my friends earlier this week, I know what they're capable of. I know how good they are. Again, that young kid is way better than me. I hate to see that. I hate to see losing integrity like that over, I don't know, whatever.
It's a touchy. It is a very touchy subject because you don't want to accuse somebody of doing it, and then some people generally have. They have like you said, your brother dropped 15. Some people have a bad season. It happens, but it's the difference in doing it, like you said, doing it on purpose versus just having a bad season. You could be going through something mentally, emotionally. Who knows? That's just affecting your game. And
oil conditions change. Lots of things can happen where you have a bad season.
Yeah, it's you can't fault those people, but then the ones who like you said, know better is you expect more. So I agree with you 100% on that whole sandbagging thing, and that's my wish that there was. I think handicap has a lot to it does have a lot to do with people sandbagging to get more sticks, so that when they shoot good, they get more. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, I've said this numerous times on the show. There's got to be a standard across the board for USBC with handicap. It can't just be whatever the president picks, because too many situations get created, and a lot of bowlers who are decent, lack of better words, get screwed out of good chances to win because you have teams that will sandbag, will tell somebody throw off, will tell them don't do good tonight. We won't need you. We'll swap out to somebody with more handicap. I've had that happen numerous times. They'll bowl against teams that have somebody on the roster with a lower average. Don't show up tonight. We'll get this person to come in because they have a lower average. We don't need you. Like, just so that we keep the handicap. And it's like, really? Like, really? I've seen it. I've done it myself to a point where I was like, I told Peyton last season on Monday, and we say it's a joke, but I was like, the reason why we end up losing the league on Monday for the team, and he was like, "Huh?" He thought I was insulting him. I was like, "No, it's because your average is higher than what the book average is for a vacancy." And he was like, "Oh, that's right," because before he came, we was beating everybody with just 3 people, and when he did come, the handicap was such much better. We lost so many sticks, we couldn't win anymore. And then the teams that had more sticks than us, we struggled against. So it was like, dang, like, it shouldn't even be that much of a factor that you have to think about how you pick your people. It should be just simple as you go out the bowl and have fun.
Yeah, it does have its place. I talk a lot of people into joining leagues that maybe wouldn't, because they're like, well, I can't compete with you. Handicap has its place for those people that you're, newer bowlers trying to come in and compete. Bowlers who are learning, like you were talking, they're going to continuously get better. And then as they get better, it is what it is, but it has its place. But you're right. It has to be controlled somehow or another. Because we've got 90% at 240, 100% of whatever, like the league you were in.
Negative
Just
handicap.
It is out of control. Just like with the lane conditions, you and I talk a lot about it. I know you've been preaching about tougher house shot conditions, and I fully agree with you, because I would love to see challenge patterns become the normal rather than, these walled up patterns. But I agree with handicap. I also agree that people need to not abuse that.
Yeah, it's the abuse that's the problem. It's not that. I mean, I don't play golf, but there's a handicap in golf. Mm-hmm. But you really can't. Can you really cheat golf? I don't know, but it seems like they have a handle on it.
Yeah. I don't know. Patrick's in here. He's a big golfer. Maybe he'll answer that question in the comments. So about golf, he says yes, you can cheat the system in golf as well, which I would assume is kind of similar. You just miss a putt by a little bit and shoot par, then birdie or whatnot. So I don't know. Bowl your best all the time, and we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Sure, that's exactly true. This is why stream challenges are mostly scratch, because we don't have to worry about dealing with somebody trying to cheat the system. We've had one person try with a 9-pin no tap, and it's not that it's 9-pin no tap. No, for those of y'all out there, because Josh, he was doing 9-pin no tap as well, but he let us know that was the only league he can bowl in, and we made adjustments to his score to fit where he would be at. And he won the summer challenge, but let's be real. He struck more than he 9-pinned.
Oh, by far, and he's still doing it.
Yeah, it's like he averaged at least maybe throughout the summer league, that challenge, when we come to think about that with the handicap and all that stuff, I think maybe he averaged a variance of maybe 30 pins a game.
It was very impressive what he did.
Yeah, it's like 30 pins a game is only a few strikes that you're taking away from him. In some of them games, I may have took only 10 points. It was like he literally struck that much. You can't do nothing about that. But at the same time, we had a person who used a 9-pin no tap score and sent it in, and everybody knew this person to be a 180 average person. Was like, wait, how you go 270, 300? So What is this? Oh, that's my name for no tablet. I didn't have a problem with it, but at the same time, let us know so we can make adjustments.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a need to abuse the system and try to win. There's no need for it.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point with our challenges. No handicaps. We come up with really fun ways to make it even and make it fun. We also promote always trying to strive to be a little bit better. So there's, we don't need the handicap in our challenges. We will find ways to make it fair for everybody. All ranges of averages are welcome to participate in these. So.
Yeah, so this next one is full, but the next one, you guys, please join us on stream Facebook page and join the challenges. You will become better. Trust me. We have evidence and proof that challenging yourself to do better against higher bowlers, just consistently challenging yourself, period, will make you a better bowler. I made a comment to one of the guys on the page, and he was like, well, I'm not as good with my spares, so I'm not going to do the challenge. Why not? Put yourself on the spot now. Why wait? Do it now.
And make your spares. And make your spares. I got a text message this morning, from a bowler that is local here, bowls on our Friday league. I also bowl with him on Tuesdays. We just got him into stream. He joined this challenge. Okay. And he sent me a message that was literally, you make me a better bowler because I'm trying to keep up. And I'm also very approachable. I know you probably are too. And when he's struggling, even if we're head to head, he knows that he can come ask me, how are you doing this? And what can I do better? And those are the things that are going to make you a better bowler. Always trying to catch up to that next guy, not, one, relying on handicap, or two, always putting yourself against the middle of the pack or somebody lower than you. Our challenges will challenge you to keep up with better bowlers. And in essence, if you take them seriously, will just continually make you better.
Yeah. I mean, I praise her enough. I mean, Swan, she is perfect example. And even now, Aaron, he's
making strides.
I mean, I ain't gonna take it from him. He impressed me yesterday. He shot very well. And it's like, despite the things that he does struggle with, he's consistently putting the ball in the right spot. So these challenges, y'all, they work. No, we do them as fun ways to make everybody better, and we've seen it over and over. Even we've become better. At
by
ball
far.
selection, reading it's a way for you guys to definitely be better. It's Ray. You don't have to record your bowling. It's not about the recording. We thought about that in the very beginning with stream. And it came out to be, it's not even about the videos and looking all fancy. It's about really growing and being able to help everybody grow and become better bowlers. No, the goal is everybody on our staff is a coach. Me and Geek are both licensed coaches. Josh is working on his. Derek Parsons is a coach. Segura is a coach. I think Elena's working on hers. So, we have Ronaldo is working on his. Well, we have people you can come talk to and say, hey, I'm having an issue with this. How do you adjust for this?
And we're approachable. Like, I answer you. If you message me directly, 99% of the time, you're getting a response. I'm not going to blow anybody off. I got a lot of people who message me a lot. Sometimes I get in trouble with it with my significant other upstairs. But it's also important in my book to be open with people and to really be approachable as far as giving advice and wanting to help everybody grow.
Yeah. And that's the goal, is to have a community to where everybody picks each other up. No matter how much trash talk we have, because lately, this last week, there's been a lot of trash talk, and I'm gonna let y'all know these admin about to put their ass.
Weird. Hey, the dominance showed the last time, and I don't see us letting up. Our admin team hasn't gotten weaker.
No. If anything, we've definitely gotten a lot stronger than last year. So I wish y'all luck. The video I made for my admin is just going to be case in point that it may be few of us, but we have quality bowlers with our group. So bring it.
Yeah. Hey, guys, as we finish up here, again, if you're interested, we've got mugs, we've got ball cups. Guys, we're not really taking much from this. A lot of it is pennies to the dollar that we're keeping out of this, but we're getting the name out. Again, we're promoting a lot of, growth in the sport. Dwight's got that RevTac Pro coming as soon as it gets that USB-C stamp, which I think will happen. Like, I know everything that I gain from TikTok, every subscription I get, every penny that I get from this, I just keep putting back into what we're doing. So appreciate all of you guys and anybody who buys something from us or subscribes to the stream channel, Dwight's channel, my channel. Just know that all of that money is going back into the community.
Yes, it is. And it's ready to get your certification back. We need more coaches in the sport and on our page. Matter of fact, join our page. We are looking for another female admin to add to our list of admin team because we are, hate to say it, male heavy, but we're trying to even out how many we have to get different perspectives. So if you're interested, just join the page and let us know because we do need some more. But that'll be it for for us today, y'all. This is Let's Talk Bowling. I am Go Time. We have Coach Geek here, and it's been a pleasure. It looks like it's going to be a better time for us to do this, so we will see you on Saturday at the same time, 10 Central, 9 Mountain Standard Time.
9 Mountain, yep.
And that'll be 11 Eastern. And y'all have a good day. Deuces.